What's up? My name is Danya Powers. I am the owner of Empowered Coach, where I help women over 40 overcome menopausal weight gain. I recently had a hysterectomy, and so I wanted to take the opportunity to share what I have learned post-hysterectomy that's helped me recover the best way that I possibly can, and maybe it will help you too. You need a mat and a willing attitude. Let's get rolling. I had a hysterectomy about 7 weeks ago, and at about week 3, I started feeling a little bit stir crazy. I was feeling pretty good, but I had just a lot of, be carefuls, don't do anything. So I just developed an exercise routine that worked for me at 3 weeks post hysterectomy. And I thought, this was so helpful for me that I wanted to share it with you. So first and foremost, disclaimer, you're in control of your body. You don't have to do anything that I tell you to. And if your doctor said absolutely not, I would listen to your doctor. My doctor was like, do what feels good and just play it by ear and don't do anything that causes any downward vaginal pressure at that early stage. But anyways, I'm going to show you what I did. You can join me and hopefully it helps you. So the first thing that you want to do is lie on your back, and you want to have feet flat and have them close because you want to be able to relax down through your pelvic floor. And so I want you to imagine that you are tightening like you were trying to stop your pee. And then what I want you to do is completely smooth that out like you were trying to fart. That sounds so silly to say that, but that's just the honest to God's truth. So do that again. Squeeze nice and slow in. And then just a slow, smooth release. We're going to do that again. Squeeze nice and slow. And then a slow release. Again, squeeze and release. And one more time, squeeze and release. We're just going to stay here for a moment and take a couple of breaths, completely smoothed and relax. I will say this particular work helped me overcome hemorrhoids as well, if that's helpful information for you post having babies. The fun part of being female. And we're going to move on to our next exercise. You don't have to go very far. You're going to bring your feet nice and close. We're going to have palms down. You're going to take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, we're just going to lift the hips up. Drop the hips back down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Coming down. Breathe out. Up. It's real important you don't hold your breath. Coming down. Back up. And one more time. Breath in. And breathe out. So the reason we don't hold our breath during that is we don't want any kind of downward vaginal pressure. And that's real important to remember. The healing that needs to happen needs nothing to get pressed down there. It needs to be able to, that wall needs to be able to close and heal that vaginal cuff. So make sure that breath is moving. And we're going to go on to our next exercise. I'm using this coffee table because it's kind of the perfect height. If you need it to be a little higher, make sure it's higher if you're tall. I'm like 5 foot, just under 5'4". I tell people I'm 5'4". So what you need to do is come down to your elbows, whatever you're using. We're going to take our feet and put them just a little bit wider than hip size. And then you're going to push back into a down dog. That is our position. So we're going to hang out here for 5 breaths. You want to feel a stretch through your hamstring. And if you don't feel a stretch through your hamstring, then you want to make sure that you walk your feet a little bit further forward to push the hips back. So everything's supported, but things are tight because you have been resting
And so, and if you weren't super flexible even before this, you know, take your time with everything. Be mindful that your body has had a major organ removed, and you need to be respectful of the fact that it needs time to recover. We're coming up out of that. All we're going to do is step our heels out. So now our toes are pointed in toward each other. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, push back, and you're hanging out in these for about 5 breaths. We're going to just kind of keep the same footing. And we're going to go into cat-cow from this position. So you want to take a deep breath in. And as you do, we're tipping the head and the tailbone up till you feel a stretch in the back of the hamstrings, like the back of the top of the legs. And then breathing out, we're rounding up, tucking everything in, pulling everything tight, and breathing out. And then just repeating that. Breathing into cow. Breathing out to cat. Just doing 5 breaths here. Soften the knees to bring yourself back up to a stand. Have somebody help you get a chair. I do recommend having a sticky mat underneath a chair if you're having it on a hardwood surface like me. And you have to be able to get up and down out of furniture. Post-surgery, I lost 16 plus pounds of muscle. So regaining some of that muscle was like my first focus, but I was starting to feel by week 3 pretty weak through my legs where they felt pretty strong at the beginning. They were starting to deplete. So I started doing some chair squats. So breath has to move. Do not hold your breath. We have our chair squats. Just coming down and back up. If you are really sore through the vajayjay, have a pillow on the chair. And if this is not something that feels good for you, just don't do it. We're just doing 5 and then rest. And that is it. So I really struggled with a lot of lower back pain by week 3. So one of the things that I did was a puppy pose on the wall. So you're just taking your arms all the way up past your head, and you're away from the wall, about a foot length away from the wall. And then you're bringing your arms up overhead, and you're bringing your chest toward the wall, and that is it. And you're doing some deep breathing. This, if it bothers your abdominal scars, just go ahead and skip it for 1 more week. I've found it to feel good. And so this is just a really modified puppy pose. We're just holding this for about 5 breaths.
Nice work. Join me for week 4 and do these every day until week 4, and then you can jump on the bandwagon, and we have a few more exercises to do for week 4.
High volume. Am I really that?